Now there are a few other variations of especially the input that I want to show you. Okay, uh, the ABC, the actual taking of the input, right, and converting them to an integer does not need to be separately like this. Okay, firstly they can be, they do not have to be in separate blocks. So I can do a equals int input, and then a equals, sorry, a equals input, and then a equals int a, right, and then b equals input, and b equals int b, and c equals input, and c equals int c. I can also do that. Does not affect the outcome of my program. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, same output. Okay, one more way of doing it is, uh, if you don't, if you are already confused, a little confused by what's happening so far, you don't need to worry about this. But just so you know, there is another way of doing this. Okay, so what you can do is, you can get rid of these and enclose the input directly into the int. So you can say a equals int input, b equals int input, c equals int input. Okay, so you can also do this, which is essentially doing both steps at once. So you are not only entering the data, right, you are then converting it into an integer and then storing it in variable a. So it's just one, both steps are being performed, but they're performed in the same line. Okay, you don't have to do it this way, by the way. Okay, so it's completely okay if you don't want to do it this way, but this is just, I wanted to show you that this way exists. uh, One last thing about input. Let me, you know what, this, no, let me get rid of let me go back to the previous approach that we had. So, what? So one other way of doing this is as follows. Okay, instead of A, B, C, enter first number, enter second number, enter third number. In some situations, if you don't want to do it this way, you could also do something like this. Okay, so you can just say, with a print statement before, you can just say print, print, uh, enter three numbers, and then all you could do is print a equals input, b equals input, c equals input. Okay, so instead of doing it this way, enter first number, enter second number, enter third number, you could also say this, print enter three numbers, and then actually do this. Okay, so you can just say, you can just enter the numbers one by one. So you could say 10, 20, and 30, and it would give the same output. Okay, but this time, instead of prompting you three times, just prompted you just at one time. So it said enter three numbers, and then you did it one by one. Okay, by the way, the numbers have to be in separate lines. So you cannot have something like, you cannot have 10, 20, 30. You cannot have this. Okay, this is incorrect. It will still wait for the other two numbers, and then it would fail. Okay, then it would fail because 10, 20, 30 is not a number. It is not a single number. It's a string. Okay, but anyways, so that's just another way of doing things. Okay, so you can just print once and then input three times. Okay, without prompts.